Hello and welcome to today. My name is Moses Mukitale, and I'm sure you're wondering, he's a new face. What is he doing here today? I'm sitting in for a colleague who couldn't make it today, but it's Uganda at Crossroads, and I'm very excited, and I hope you're going to have a wonderful discussion with us as you join us to learn more about what's happening in our country, the future of our nation, Uganda. It's a privilege for all of us, not just me or anyone out there, but to be sharing ideas about how we can have a much prosperous Uganda, a much better Uganda. This is Uganda at Crossroads, and join us. Ask your friends to share the link, to share on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube so that you can follow us until the very end. Again, my name is Moses Mukitale. It's my first time. I'm signing in for my colleague who couldn't make it today. But I have some very amazing people with us today. The squad is always fired up. We've been having a chat before the show, and I was having some very, interesting discussions and insights, and I hope that you will enjoy with us today. As usual, we're having Richard Muyombia. We're broadcasting live from Massachusetts in Boston here. We're having Richard Muyombia, a very strong political commentator. I keep watching you, and I'm glad today that I'm finally with you here. I'll ask you to introduce yourself and greet our viewers.
Good afternoon, whenever you are around the world. My name is Richard Muyombia. I'm a political analyst and a strong supporter of People Power NOP and Honorable Chagwan, who is fighting for a true change in Uganda, that a black man one day is going to gain his status in the whole world, starting from Uganda. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really envy your strength and courage. And also we have another very strong, I'll call an Iron Lady, Sarah Joy. Please greet our viewers, and we'll start the show.
Hello everyone, good evening, good afternoon. It is good afternoon here, and I know it's in other parts of the world. Some are just waking up, some are planning to go to bed, especially those who are watching us from Africa. I'm glad to be here. It's been a while, but I'm glad to be here. And I'm sure we're gonna, it's been an interesting week and an interesting maybe previous month. So I'm very sure we're gonna have an interesting debate right here.
Sure, thank you very much again for keeping time, and I hope that our viewers will not just listen, but will also have to learn something new. Gentlemen, I want us to begin with the current affairs back home in Uganda. Yesterday, Friday, I was watching the Electoral Commission announced that it has received 5 million signatures from 142 districts endorsing Mr. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for the candidature for the 2021 general elections. And they said he's the first aspirant to fulfill the requirement to collect at least 100 signatures per district from the 2/3 of the country's districts. Now, I know it's a very long quote there, right? But I'm bringing this up because ahead of the elections, we are having, I hope we shall have the elections maybe in March, sometime before April. What does this mean for Uganda? We've had a president over the last 35 years. I'm 31 years. I have never seen any other president. And we are looking at the prospect of the same president starting again. What does this mean to you as political commentators, as people who are really interested in the future of the country? I'll start with you, Sarah Joy.
President Museveni collecting 5 million signatures, it's not something to excite me. There's nothing exciting about that. They could have just been manufactured from Kapeka, that is Saleh's residence, or anywhere, because, he's, just like you see, the other time they told us they have the NRM registered members. They said they had over, what was it?
16 million?
16 million?
16 million.
And when you look at the figure that voted, it wasn't even half of that. Exactly. People who voted, who participated in the NRM, electoral process, they were not even half of, they were not even 10 million. They were not even, so it is enough to tell you that definitely, I think they are coming up. He can all those signatures, because all candidates are going to produce those signatures at the end of the day. But do they translate into the actual votes we need? Could be they are paying people money to collect these signatures, sign here and get money. Because you've seen President Museveni and his regime, they can do anything. So long as it keeps him in power and it keeps him comfortable, they can do anything. And what is hurting me, they're using taxpayers' money to do all that. But I believe all candidates, even our candidates, will The signatures are simple. They can take them there. But where we are going...
Let's assume they are genuine. Let's assume they're not from NASA, as we might want to think about it.
Uganda has...
Does it worry you that we still have people that really believe that after 35 years, we still deserve this gentleman?
No, they wouldn't worry me because even if they were genuine that people signed, there are high chances that people were given Chintu Chidogo some money to sign because that's the politics President Museveni.
Anyway, we've known the history of how we've seen over the last 35 years, as I've said. But my thinking was, okay, I'll first get your opinion.
Because I think we've got into a stage where President Museveni has no genuine supporters. Everyone is in for something, and it has, before it used to be only on the top. Now it translated, you see him openly buying,
buying off the opposition.
Including
those in NUP. But
opposition supporters.
Mr.
So
Richard.
Now there is no way you are. Let me finish this in a second. There is no way you're going to go to the electorate and tell them to give anything for free when you're paying off other people. So basically, he has spoiled the entire political game in Kampala.
The image.
Unless people really support and they really... For those people who are not going to be looking at money, they're those people who genuinely support change. But I think President Museveni must be having sacks and sacks of money for the next election because even the electorate, they would want part of that cake he keeps giving to the others.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to money, we've known how money has changed people's minds in Uganda politically. Richard, does it surprise you? Let's take it for the face value. We're hoping these are genuine signatures. Does it surprise you that we still have over 5 million people in Uganda or more, because they said he got more than 100 from each district? Does it still surprise you that we still have a group of people in Uganda that are still happy and saying we don't want change?
Look, Museveni has a national register in the country.
Yes.
Museveni has his stronghold of areas in the West and has areas where he manufactures his own votes in Karamoja. So if someone...
You have evidence on that?
No, that's look at Mukundi, what he was saying always.
Okay,
Mukundi has been saying...
I thought you had your own, okay.
So this is someone in Uganda selling matoke, driving a border, someone comes and tells him, I need your signature for the president to stand, but you are going to vote. Would you agree if you gave him 5,000 Ugandan shillings? Yes or no? He would agree and give it to you. He doesn't know the meaning of what is really the Museveni is up to. It's up to the way Museveni has collected the 5 million votes. It's up to him to allow, because he's the leader of the country, he's the leader of the electoral commission, he's the leader of everything. It's him to allow Honorable Chagwe to collect genuine signatures around the country. If we can allow him, because if Honorable Chagwe cannot be allowed to go and speak on the radio in Mbare or in Soroti.
Yeah, we are going to come to that because we have a whole segment.
Then you tell me that it's a fair game?
Well, for me, I mean, just like in the USA here where we are, some people are for this person and for another person, but it surprises me that after 35 years, you still have people who are still believing that you don't need change, right? Now, I want to use that same question to go into what's happening now in your political dispensation, Noop. I mean, when I think about the people that, for example, are saying they're still okay with President Museveni coming back in power, one person said whoever is within the NRM is there for something. Let's look at Noop now. Should we be right to say whoever is jumping into Noop, wanting or fighting for the party ticket, are they there for something genuine? Because we saw in 2016 people were lining up for Kizza Besigye's signature, for Kizza Besigye's representation. We saw in 2011 there was Subi 2011, I don't know, 2010. But after the elections, all these they disappeared. Should we say people are going to use Noop also right now as the only strong name that can take them to power?
That you cannot rule out that. We definitely know there are some opportunists who are going to, jump onto, what is the hot cake. Right now, Noop is the most selling thing in Kampala. So if already, if you want to have being associated with Noop already gives you, if we are counting over 100 marks, gives you 10 marks off being associated with Kyagulanyi because. He resonates very well with Ugandans and they believe in him. So so that gives you off 10 marks. But definitely we know there are opportunists who are going to jump into because they want to use that opportunity to get back in parliament. But again, we won't rule out the fact that there are also good people who really want change. So it's it's a tricky thing because I've seen so many engagements where I would expect, because for a while we've been wishing that the opposition would come together, not to divide the opposition vote so that we can take out President Museveni. But you see, I've seen the oppositions are also, people in the opposition are fighting to keep their positions in opposition. So basically, they are less, I've seen some debates where I'm like, for a minute I'm asking, excuse me, are we fighting President Museveni or are we fighting each other?
I mean, so, that's what was going to come to me. Do you believe that NUP has divided the opposition?
I think, I think what NUP has done, NUP has exposed some of the people who are in opposition uninterested in keeping their positions. Because sometimes people are
Give me 5 names.
People are just comfortable. I'll just give you an example. I watched, I don't think Norbert Mao is a serious contender. He's just interested in being the President General of DP. I don't see any drive, anything in him wanting to change leadership in Uganda. He's comfortable in his position as, you know.
Okay.
Look at, you've had the people like the Akena. All those are, by the way, all those parties were handed over to President Museveni a long time ago.
They are comfortable.
Yeah, they are comfortable. Look at Akena. Do you think he cares about if Museveni is president or not? They don't care. And to my surprise, the other day when I was watching the Frontline, I saw Nandala Mafabi, the executive director of EDO.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to come
executive
back to
secretary of FDC,
I saw
literally fighting on a show, literally fighting off David Lewis. And I'm like, excuse me.
I mean, he's entitled to his own opinion.
No, but I'll tell you one thing. Actor. Some of these opposition leaders are behaving as if NUP is in power.
I'll tell you my opinion before I go to Richard. We have parties like the FDC that feel NUP is taking the political space of the FDC. Parties like, you know, you've talked about Norbert Mao, they all feel that NUP is taking the political space of the opposition. So they are not going to sit back and relax. You know,
because they did.
And that's why I'm thinking, you know, it's so unfortunate that we are having 9 people now who are all saying they're going to stand for presidency. You know, it's against one incumbent, Museveni. But I'm going to come back to that issue.
Let me finish up a second. Just give me a second. But you see, if you feel NUP is taking up the political space, what have you been doing all this time? Because these I
mean, people have been on the ground.
Yeah, because, you know, if you've been on the ground.
Kizza Besigye has been on ground.
Kizza Besigye did his run. And no, you know, at this point in time, I think political parties or leaders should understand, you know, you take your run and outgrow it at a certain moment. Because at a certain moment, rest in peace, Sebagala was the whole thing in Kampala. He handed over the mantle to Dr. Kizza Besigye. I think Dr. Besigye has done his run. We should give him kudos for that, but someone else should take up, because when you look at when Dr. Besigye started 20 years ago, that generation that generation has kind of had a swift or a change. This is the generation of Kyagulanyi. Give a young person a chance to take on the mantle, where you have majority of the young people in the country right now. Because we are not going to dismiss the old people. Yes, we need them, we want them. But the biggest challenge, people facing problems in Uganda, are the young people. Because the population of Uganda is over 75% young people. And they've not seen any other president. You've not seen any other president. You would want to see another president.
I know, but you are the ones who are also easily being bought off. Let me first go to Richard. Richard.
Yes?
I want you objectively. I know you have no, you know, you are no color in and out in your blood. But do you believe that NUP has divided the opposition further in favor of Museveni?
No. NUP, you see, if you want to look at NUP very well and the liberation of the country, because NUP is a liberation party, there are two things here. If you look at Mugisha Muntu, is going with the status quo of Museveni, his army, his political system, and everything. If you look at Besigye, Besigye is a liberator. There's nothing that Museveni, that Honorable Kyagulanyi can do without consultation with Besigye, because Besigye is also a liberator. We have to be frank, because if it was not Besigye, we would never have reached where we are in the liberation struggle for the country, because Museveni had closed off the country as a one-party system until this man rose up. Now, Why do we support NOP? Why is NOP a liberation movement? Because NOP is going to change the political system of the country. That's very important in the country. The military system of the country, the security system of the country, the economic system of the country.
That's if you come into power, right?
It will come to power. Let it rain, let it shine.
Well, why are you so sure? What makes you so certain?
I'm a political analyst and I can see the strategies, how the things are behaving on the ground. That the days of Museveni fooling the country and the international world, these days are over.
So you are sure
I'm
Museveni
so
is
sure.
leaving power?
If Museveni tries to stop Honorable Kyagulanyi from contesting for the presidency on to get his name on the ballot for the presidency, he would have created the greatest disaster for himself and his people.
What will happen?
Yes. Then
let's look at a scenario. And I
yes.
want to get Joy's views, but let me get yours. Let's get a scenario.
Yes.
A worst case scenario.
Okay.
President Museveni comes back as the next president still, extending his rule to 40 years. What is the worst case scenario? What is going to happen in Uganda that you ever see?
Okay. There's going to be an uprising on the ground, an uprising of which he will not contain. Because you must remember that communism falls by mass uprising. Look at Ceausescu of Romania. Mass uprising brought him down. Look at Gaddafi.
I was talking to you earlier on about my theory about Uganda. In 2011, I was privileged to be a journalist and I was covering the walk-to-work protests. And there would be days when you felt there would be an uprising. You know, where you walk from, Nabugabo with Besige, then you arrive in Kalere Market, and they just fire one tear gas canister and everyone goes away and Kizza Besigye is taken away. I mean, I don't have the mentality in my head of seeing Ugandans rising up. But again, that's me, okay? That's just me. But finally, as you're winding up this point, because we have a couple of issues to talk about, you are certain that Bobi Wine or Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi is winning the election.
He's going to win an election if he's allowed to contest for the presidency. If Museveni does not allow him to contest for the presidency, it will be the end of Museveni's rule. I'm telling you openly on camera. The second thing, if Museveni tries to touch in that, to reach that election that is coming, it's going to come against, to backfire against him, because the international community is against him, the people on the ground is against him, the army is divided, the police is divided, the security is divided in the country. What is going to happen? There's going to be an armed rebellion of which the population that are suppressed will support, and that will be the end of Museveni and his rule. I'm telling you.
I want us, before I go to Joy, because I don't want to leave this point, maybe I'll ask Joy this view. Do you believe that the military in Uganda can take a position like what we saw, for instance, in Zimbabwe, like what we've seen in other countries? Do you believe that our military is as independent as it should be right now?
They
to say
can.
We are standing with Ugandans.
They can. One of the things that President Museveni has done, and I don't know whether they think through what they do, is he has made a few people in the army comfortable. Majority of the people in the army are underpaid. They sleep in miserable conditions. They sleep in those imports, and you find over one family sharing one import. So majority of the people in the army are miserable. Despite the fact that they carry the gun, there's no difference between them and any other Ugandan who is suffering. So the problem, and the problem with those leaders, if you're going to make 100 military men or army guys comfortable, and you leave 10,000 uncomfortable, then you're making a big mistake. Because if 100 pick up arms, are they going to kill the entire 1 million? They may not. So you see what happened. Look at countries like Mali. What happened? The boy who carried out that coup, he was 25 years, he must have been one of those guys who were disgruntled. So the biggest problem Museveni is doing right now, he's making a few. Because if he wanted protection of the army as someone, because he's too selfish, if he wanted protection of the army to the core, he would have made all the people in the army comfortable. You do not just make a few comfortable.
I mean, he knows he can't do that, because if he do that, then they will be comfortable enough to fight him. So he has to keep them. He has to keep them in a begging mode,
They are not in a begging mode, because if army officers, people who are in the army, I think they earn about $300. That's less than $100.
Yeah.
300,000. That is, and they have families, they have kids, because all these police officers you see mishandling people, they have kids, they have families, they have, you know, they are not any different from any Ugandan that is suffering. If you engage those guys one-on-one, I've had situations where someone told me, I think they were having one of some riots in Kampala. I think they were moving with Honorable Chagulanyi, and then police was dispersing them. Police officer mentioned to him that, you people, you're the problem. And this guy was surprised, was like, how can we be the problem? He's like, when we come in and we start beating you and tear gassing you, we want you to engage more.
Yeah.
You do not. So the police is even better with Ugandans. They come and engage, we want you to engage more. So the Ugandans need to wake up. The police is ready.
No, but Ugandans are cowards, naturally.
No, Ugandans are cowards.
I'm sorry to say that, but
as
I've told you, for example, it broke my heart in 2012.
It is very true.
There was a very ugly scene where Besigye was, remember the time when they broke his car and, you know, with a gun, and then eventually they bundled him up on a truck. His hand was, you know, in a cluster, and no Ugandan, you know, was on the streets anywhere in Kampala. But that's what I'm talking about.
No, but I'll tell you one thing.
But it hurts to see.
Ugandans are cowards, but every day they are waking up. They're waking up.
Including myself, including you.
I'm telling you, including all of us. How my mom spoke 5 years ago is not the same way. Because before there used to be, at some point my mom told me that, we are comfortable with sleep. Until right now, she cannot go to sleep. Because if she goes to sleep, thieves are breaking in to take her property. So it is not that there is a war happening for them to lack sleep, but the unemployed youth are giving them sleepless nights. How do you get the guards to sleep when the other day they took your TV and you're sure next time they're coming back for your fridge? So the situations, the conditions of whatever is happening in Uganda has made them go back to sleepless nights, of which they experienced many years back. Today it is not a war. It is, people are not fighting. But the unemployed people are coming after their lives on a daily basis. So Ugandans are going to be forced to wake up. Because either you wake up and push out President Museveni, or he's going, because for sure President Museveni doesn't. I always tell people that President Museveni does not care about Ugandans. Because let's give the most recent scenario. At least I wanted to say a more compassionate president. At least who cares for his own people. COVID-19. People did not get food. Even the food that was donated was stolen. So basically, and I'm telling you, this was not like outsiders manning this, it was Museveni and his team. And these men are so selfish, to an extent, they even steal posho. When in their homes they're having chicken and matoke. What are they going to do with the posho? They want to sell it. They're not stealing it to eat it in their houses. I believe they don't even eat posho in their houses. But they are too selfish that they would rather see Ugandans, you know, sleep hungry without any food, but they resell the posho. So
that has been the hallmark of the NRM.
Yeah, but you see, he would have done better, would have expected better. Look at what is happening right now. The money that was meant to reopen schools, maybe facilitation for the teachers for the time they've not been working, 400 billion stolen. And Museveni knows the thieves. These are not people, you know, this is not money that thieves came in from Rwanda, from Congo.
But you know, what worries me is that...
But you see what is happening to the teachers right now? Teachers have become chapati sellers. Teachers, I have sisters who are teachers. They are now into rearing chicken. Teachers, the schools, private schools, the owners have broken them and they've turned them into rentals. And I'm telling you, this is the beginning of the end of the academics.
But you see, my challenge, and this is going to lead us to the issue of NUP and how prepared you feel NUP is to take on power, because we have to look at the grim, at the reality. You know, how prepared is it? But you know, you talked about an issue of teachers, for example, in Uganda. It hurts me again, as I tell you as a journalist, that teachers know they are underpaid. They have a demonstration of a month. They are scared one morning, and then they call off the protest. I mean, this is just one example of a sector that can rise up and start a rebellion even in Uganda, that has even agreed that, yes, we can have a leadership, but the leadership is going to be penetrated by the NRM. We are going to be paid peanuts, and before you know it, the leadership of the Teachers Association calls off such, you know, very high-level engagement.
That's what has happened, that leaders have been, or associations have been disappointing. I'll give you an example what happened with Makerere University, where the teachers put up, the lecturers, they put down their tools. And what did the management, all these associations do? On behalf of the teachers, they were meeting President Museveni, having coffee, leaving with envelopes. And at the end of the day, because for them they were cared for, they were able to say, oh, now we should resume our lectures. But who are the comfortable ones? The few people who have met President Museveni have gone away with envelopes. They're not going to transit and go back to the majority of the lecturers. But what has happened? What has that resulted into? See students that come out of Makerere right now. The teachers, what have they done? You underpay them, they don't care.
They'll just give
They don't care. So you're having half-baked graduates.
Let me first go to
and I'm telling you, because no one, you may think you're affecting the teacher or the teacher is losing, but you're getting half-baked graduates you cannot even employ anywhere.
I mean, that has been the big challenge in Uganda. But let's look now at politically. We're looking at Uganda. How prepared is the opposition? And I want us to hone in now on NOP because you people are, NOP, right? But how prepared, for instance, is NOP for coming into power? Looking at all the chaos that has happened within just your own party primaries. No, how prepared are you?
Let me first answer something here before we can move on.
Okay.
There are two things here. You say that you saw the chaos of 2011, where Besigye was supposed to take over government.
And now, I feel he won an election.
Yeah, he won an election. Yeah. And there were
not even people, once, twice.
No, and there were no people that were supposed to fight and die for him. In a struggle like this, sacrifice is important. Now, let me tell you, we had the VAT issue. I don't know if you ever had the VAT issue. The VAT issue, I was involved in the VAT issue, was a national issue.
What was that? Yes.
The VAT issue, when Museveni first introduced the VAT in the country, there was CTR.
Which year was that?
I think it was 96, was it? I think it was 96.
Boy, yeah.
It began as a small thing, and the whole country had to close down because it was a national cause. Besigye was a good freedom fighter for the opposition and for the people of Uganda, but he could not rally people to the national cause, of which Honorable Chagwan can rally the...
Why couldn't he do that?
No, the people that were not willing to die for him to defend his idea. That is the most important thing, that Honorable Chagwan has 2 tickets. He can rally all Ugandans, and the international people are behind him. And the Ugandan people are going to be ready to die because of Chagwan. I'm going to tell you this.
So you bring a very interesting point. You say where Besigye failed, Bobby Wine can succeed.
Yes, exactly. Everyone knows that.
Where did you see Besigye, for example, in the last 10 years?
What
do you think?
Besigye is my friend. I was communicating with when he was in the campaign. I don't want to talk things on camera.
I know.
But Besigye was so sure was going to take the leadership, and I told him no.
I mean, again, we've had all the generals, Tumukunde and the like, saying he won an election. So we know he won an election.
Yes.
But
were the people going to rise up with those tanks that were out on the streets and the army soldiers to fight and take government, oversaw the existing political and military system in the country? Were the people willing in Uganda, because Uganda is a key partner in the politics of the country? Yes or no? Besigye thought they were going to die for him, and the people were not willing. But on the same question I ask you, are the people willing to die the way you see them today? Are they willing to die, even in an armed struggle, to put Chagwan in power? Yes. So now let's go back to something you said, something again about the education system, about the failing education system in the country. The problem of the country, of the education system of the country, starts way in the 1950s. In Africa, the British, why would you give a black man an education that cannot not put in use? That's why they gave us a curricula of black people. A doctor, Ugandan doctor, can only treat malaria, cannot do a transplant. Now, as things have been moving on, there's been reforms. And now, when Museveni saw the policy of people power, he said now he's going to reform the education system and introduce the existing education system like of China. What people power is saying, what Honorable Chagwan is saying, is going total overhaul of the education system to Western democracies, partnership with America, partnership with Canada, partnership with Britain and Western countries. Look at, for example, schools. We are going to build new schools in the country, modern schools in the whole of the country. And these schools are going to be built and handed over to respective areas of governance.
You and who?
People power and people
people
power.
power.
I am people power, yes. I defend people power.
That's if you win the election.
No, we shall take government. Because we
have
the mandate of the people. That's the most important thing. Yes. So, the education system, will the people like the education system where people are not paid, or would they like an education system where we pattern them with schools in America? A Karamoja school patterns up with a school here in Waltham. The teachers come from here and the teachers from there come here and they are well paid. Which one would you prefer?
That is a long-term
goal. No, it's not a long term.
Let's first look at the short-term goals.
No.
The short-term goal is to change power.
And
that's why I want you
But the people of Uganda, the people of Uganda, Museveni has doomed the people of Uganda of not even seeing the next step ahead of them. That Uganda and Africa, he calls it African Kwetu. The way these people are killed, the way the rotten system of government, the way the sewage is running, the potholes, that's the way of Africa.
It takes us back to the question.
Yes.
Are we ready for change? Because,
yes.
For example, let me give you the names.
Yes.
Let me read for you the names. We have Mr. Robert Chagulanyi. You have Mugisha Muntu. You have Joseph Kabuleta. Henry Tumukunde. Charles Romushana. You have Mao. I mean, the list is endless. My question is, do we really see the need for change? Or we are still into cheap politics?
Let's have finish first.
Among those you have on that list,
I know.
who are the
I know what you're going
contenders?
to say. What I'm saying
have people.
Why can't we as a people say, for all the elections we've stood with Museveni, let's have one candidate. What is so hard with that?
You may never have one candidate.
Mugisha Muntu is the same as Museveni.
You may never have one candidate as you want it, but then this translates back to the people of Uganda. Kabret, I know, I had one time he was going through Nakaseko, Luero, and police, when they arrested him, they didn't know, they saw him out of his car, and and they didn't know, they thought he was a madman. I read that story in the newspaper, and I'm like, what's happening? There are some people who are just there to fill in the gap, or they want on their CV that maybe at one point in time they've ever run for presidency, but they're not serious contenders, and I don't want even to look at them. Romushana. Those are just jokers. I
mean,
I don't want to take them as serious contenders. I see, is Norbert Mao on the list?
Yeah, I mean,
he's also a joker. If he himself failed to, to win back, his own district, Mugulu district, and those are just by the diversionaries, because Mao himself handed over, DP to Museveni, and that's why you see all the DP historicals. Those are guys who are they had lifetime membership cards of DP. They had to run off and go to Loop because they didn't want to be, Mao didn't consult them. He just got the whole bag and handed it over to Museveni. And they were not happy. When they woke up in the morning, they were like, they were in the bus. So they had to run off. And the rest, for me, the serious contention in this race is going to be between Bobi Wine, Honorable Chagulanyi, and President Museveni. And I'm telling you, the reason why President Museveni is using COVID as an excuse, even in a country where there is COVID business, not the COVID virus, is because he fears Honorable Chagulanyi to go to the electorate. If he can just open up the country and let campaigns happen the same way they're happening in Tanzania, President Museveni will have a shock. He cannot, because I'm telling you, have President Museveni on a rally anywhere and have Honorable Chagulanyi on a rally anywhere, President Museveni no longer has anything he's going to tell Ugandans. For instance, I'm just giving an example. If President Museveni was on it, what is he going to tell Ugandans? He has told the lies for the last 35 years, unless he's willing to recycle the lies. What is he going to tell them? I mean, that I'm going to work on the roads? We know there are 5 million people who signed signatures saying they want him back as the president. But that brings us to an issue of the problems with the media campaigns. I had that as a discussion here. Yeah. The EC on the June 16th issue, they released banning open-air campaigns, right? So we know we might not have open-air campaigns, but we've seen, for example, what happened in primaries. It was broad, open-air campaigns. Even now, right? The EC, even now. EC is a joker. Let me first hear from Richard. Richard, let us look at a scenario of not having rallies, not having a way of going out. We saw what happened in 2015. Before Richard answer that, let me give you a scenario. There is something you wanted to do, you asked and you want to leave out before it is totally answered. And just give me 1 second to take care of it. You said that Ugandans ready for change. 100%. Leave alone the leaders or the selfish few people. For example, you say on the list there are 7 people, and I've told you there are some jokers on that list. We have one main contender, 2 main contenders, the incumbent and Honorable Chagulanyi. But
I think it's unfair to call them jokers. They
no,
have their ambitions.
They have their ambition. They just want something on their CV that they've ever run for presidency. They are jokers. That's why you say they are too selfish that they want even to get 1-2 votes that would have gone to the right candidate. They are jokers. There's no any other thing I would.
We know there's also some money given to candidates to
exactly.
Start, so
leave alone that. And some of them, I think, they've been planted by President Museveni just because he wants the list longer, or he assumes they are dividing the opposition vote. But some of these guys, when I see Ramishana, every time he sits on the panel, he's bashing opposition members. So basically, he will be dividing Museveni's vote because he's always leaning on his side. But one of the things you must understand that Ugandans, as the electorate, are ready for change. Majority of the Ugandans have not seen any other president. You haven't seen any other president. We fall in that category. For starters, even if we want to see what will another president look like. We have, because we've had issues, people say, oh, Bote did this, Amin did this. The best I know of Amin is what I read about. And I'm telling you, reading, when I studied about Amin and reading about him and watching, that movie they did about Amin, Amin was a good president. Despite the fact that, because there's nothing Amin has done, Museveni has not done. Amin killed people, Museveni has killed more.
So you say he was better than Museveni?
Exactly. Amin loved this country. Most of the resources, most of the buildings, most of the things we are selling off right now, we've sold off, were put in place by Amin. Some of the roads we are talking about that are still strong in Uganda. Look at State House, look at, this hotel that was given to Aga Khan, Serena Hotel, all these places were put up by Amin. Amin did more. Because if you say, what they used to tell us, oh, Amin used to kill people. President Museveni has killed Ugandans. In broad daylight, we've seen people being shot.
But I would say he has done some more, much better work than Amin.
By mortgaging the property of the country.
I would say what President Museveni has done better than Amin is mortgaging Uganda to the Chinese, is stealing in broad daylight. Because you see what happened. If you read about Amin, when people used to steal, no one dared steal anything in Amin's regime. You would cough and vomit that money. President Museveni's regime, it is where money is spent.
Times have changed.
Where people are bought in broad daylight. It is when stealing happens in broad daylight. Can you imagine?
How he was.
Can you imagine money meant for payment of teachers can be swindled in broad daylight and nothing happens? And this is not the first time things like this happen.
That again, I said about that's been the hallmark of Uganda. And so much happens, and we think there will be change.
I wanted to give you an opinion here.
Yes, please.
You said what is the difference between Honorable Chagulanyi and the other people and President Museveni?
Yes, sorry.
If you look at the policy of people power, Honorable Chagulanyi or People Power or NUP has what they call the New Deal program for Uganda. Because the way Uganda is all rotten. There are no jobs in the country. There are no roads. There are no hospitals. There are no schools. Employment in Uganda is a dream. To get a job in Uganda, people work overseas. If you look at People Power in its policy, as soon as Honorable Chagulanyi reveals it in the campaign trail, you're going to see the New Deal of how it's going to put jobs, $250 jobs per week in Uganda for everyone in Uganda to get. For the national reconstruction of the country, new cities, new towns, new roads, wetlands, the highlands to stop erosion. All this, if you look at the New Deal, this was a program that was put in after the Great Depression in America, exactly, by Roosevelt, after the 1928 job losses in America and the economic downfall of every country, every person in America. That's exactly Honorable Chagulanyi is what he's going to do to make sure that as soon as it takes leadership in the country, he's going to put everyone to go to work, well-paid jobs, as he changed the political system, economic system, and then the manufacturing, because we are going to work with the Americans here and the British and the Canadians for industrialization of people. The factories in Uganda belonging to us, the Ugandans, not the Chinese that Museveni is proud of. This is going to create wealth and jobs, the lakes. So let me give you an example. Why do you think Museveni cannot do it? Look at the donors conference. Honorable Chagwen is going to have a donors conference. The European friends, the American friends, and the British friends, they're going to give him money. Because remember, every country that gets out of a conflict, the donors come out to give him a hand out of poverty. Even Museveni was given money after the Bush War well. But do you think that Museveni right now can go and make a donors conference to get Uganda out of the poverty it is in now today? Will they give him the money, yes or no? Will they give it to Honorable Chagwen? Because that's free money.
I mean, again, I am very hopeful that we shall have change.
Yes.
As I've said, I've never seen another president. My worry is, and this is what I asked the question at the beginning, do you see Museveni accepting to step down? There was a video released earlier this week, an audio released last week of this lady. I think she's Rose Nankabirwa, saying that there is no way. There is no way. I mean, again, I'm thinking these are the words that they hear that Museveni speak to them in the NRM caucus. There is no way I am going to give power, to this person. Like with my, and they personalize everything. My oil is ready. My this, my. Do you feel?
Okay.
Museveni.
Okay, let me answer
will
this.
hand over power if he loses this election.
Let me answer this on camera, on record. If Museveni refuses to give up power when he's defeated, an armed rebellion is going to rise on the ground.
Starting from where?
What happened in Karamoja recently? Where are the guns that were recovered?
So
I was in the NRM.
People power has guns?
No, I was in the NRM. I was in the NRM right from the early 82. I saw everything, how it happened.
Where will you get guns?
From within Uganda. The people of Uganda are going to fight and are going to defeat the current president, even if he thinks that it's very strong. The army is divided into two. There's the Special Force Command and the regular NRA, the Tumukunde. Why are they fighting Tumukunde right now? It's because the veterans of the war of the Idi Amin regime armies are all dead. Most of them are dead. But you still have UFA, FEDEM, all these Muchaka has been doing right from the beginning of the Bush. These people are all tired of him. They are going to side with the opposition and they are going to defeat Museveni. By the time the rebels reach Jinja, then Museveni will be able to look for the way out of government and negotiate and hand over everything. I'm telling this on camera, on record. It will happen. Let him try.
Okay.
These are not joking times.
But Joy, let me get your view also. Do you feel Museveni will accept a defeat? And before we even go to Museveni, we have an election whose chairperson is appointed by the president. I mean, we all know that. We don't have an independent electoral commission system like how you have in Kenya that is going to be objective enough and answerable to the people, right? Do you see the electoral commission, if in case Bobby Wine wins an election, do you see them announcing that he has won an election?
It is one of the things that's going to take pressure, and the pressure must be mounted even from now to Byamukama, because Byamukama at the end of the day, he needs also to start thinking about himself. And that's why I think...
you had Chigundu, who was a Muganda, and people said he betrayed Buganda.
No, but where is Chigundu right now? These people disappear in oblivion.
I mean, he ate whatever he ate.
Yes, so. But it disappear in oblivion because they put their integrity on the line. And what is Chigundu going to be remembered for? There's totally nothing. They put...
He doesn't care. I mean, at the end of the day, people don't care, whatever they do.
You may think people do not care. I see...
Again, I'm not saying that he rigged an election.
I see Jennifer Musisi. Jennifer Musisi lives in the same town here. She lives in Cambridge, just about 10 minutes from where we live. Jennifer Musisi, yes, she has a job in Harvard and all that, but Jennifer Musisi, she cannot even, when you find her, she cannot even raise up her head to say hi to you. She lives in shame. But what happened? When did she get to that place? The little power the presence from President Museveni made Jennifer Musisi think she was, carrying the whole world on her head. But right now, she lives here in Boston. She cannot even raise up her head. She cannot even go around the Ugandan community. She's ashamed of herself. The integrity, where is Jennifer Musisi's legacy? What are Ugandans going to remember her for?
I mean, she beautified the city, so we have flowers, we have... So you are convinced?
What I'm telling you, President Museveni is not God. He's not immortal.
I mean, we all know that.
Yes.
My only question is...
You see, what happens? For leaders who think they are indispensable or they cannot leave power, I'll give you examples of them. You see the likes of Mugabe, the rest, are they still president? It is, no matter how long it takes, no matter the timing. I'll tell you one thing, and I always tell people, Kyagulanyi has another 20 years to run and make sure that we get the change we want. If he does not get it today, he still has 20 years. Does President Museveni does he still have another 20 years?
I mean, he's healthy. We see him doing push-ups in the
Let me give you my opinion.
So
you still ask that question of handling over power.
yes.
Uganda, as a country in the international community, has a mandate to run a free and fair election. If it was not an international mandate, Museveni would never have carried out an election in Uganda. It has an international obligation to fit into the international community to hold a free and fair election. If it does not carry out a free and fair election, then the question arises, what will happen after that? Now I'm going to give you an example why I trust Honorable Kyagulanyi very well. I'm going to give you an example of Robert Mugabe and Morgan Tsvangirai, FMDC, in Zimbabwe. You remember that Mugabe had crowned himself on the leadership of Zimbabwe that was unmovable, and the international committee was waiting for an opportunity to kick him out of the government.
But they were silent.
No, wait, and what happened? Remember that election where he was defeated in an election?
Yes.
Even after the rigging, the people stood up, like Honorable Kyagulanyi is going to do, stood up and defended the election, and he was defeated. What did he do? He started killing people. The international committee had risen up to remove him out of power. What did he do? He played a card of which Honorable Kyagulanyi cannot play with Museveni. He said to Morgan Tsvangirai, that Morgan Tsvangirai, I'm ready to give you leadership or share with you the government in a transition, whatever, in case, on one reason that you go to the camera and the TV station and the radio station and tell the world that the Zimbabwe crisis is a Zimbabwe crisis can be solved between Mugabe and Morgan Tsvangirai. And Morgan Tsvangirai fell into the trap of Robert Mugabe and shut the doors of the international community to dispose that dictatorship out of power. Do you think that Honorable Kyagulanyi, the way you see him, is one of the people that can fall into that trap of Museveni?
Definitely
No.
not.
That's why we trust him, and that's why we are ready to work with him to remove Museveni. Museveni will go at any cost, I'm telling you.
And the beauty, you know, why Kyagulanyi resonates with so many Ugandans and why we have so much hope in him is he has not been among these guys. And that's why in the beginning they underrated him. People did not, people thought he was in for a second and he would disappear, or it was excitement of going to parliament, being a musician, and they had seen how the other musicians who were in parliament had fared. They were in there just to, you know, to make fun, do some little bit of comedy, and enjoy the taxpayers' money. But Kyagulanyi has kept on surprising them. And look at, you know, when he had just started this, many Ugandans didn't have faith in him. People thought, you know, apart from the people in the ghetto had faith in him because they were seeing one of their own get to the parliament. I love this phrase where he used to say, if the parliament does not come to the ghetto will go to the parliament. But he has surprised and shocked so many people at how fast he is running. He's not walking. He refused. He was a baby that was born yesterday. The baby did not crawl. He just went straight to walking and is running. And he's serious. Those people used to think he's a joker. He doesn't know what he's doing. But and I always, you know, what people forget, Kyagulanyi has a team of potential historians, very wise old men who advise him in the background. That's why he keeps saying, I'm not working alone. A few people...
But we are seeing so much chaos in the NUP, for example, in the NUP election. I mean, like, that's
no, there wasn't chaos at all.
We've seen you throw people under the bus.
No, this is what happens. Under the constitution, selection is allowed, where you have people under the committee. FDC did it, but I was surprised to see under a rubbish sheet. The woman member of Kampala, who is going to stand on the FDC ticket, Stella Jans. There were no primaries.
I mean, the difference with yours is that you had a team that was screening, right?
Yeah, a team that was screening.
Even objectivity and fairness of that committee
FDC had a team that was screening.
Is what is being critiqued
Even
at this
FDC
point.
had a team that was screening. I am giving you one clear example.
You've thrown out the Mujukas.
No, I'm just giving you a clear example. That Stella Nyanzi went through screening. There were, I think, 3 contenders. They sat down with a panel and they were asked different questions. And they felt Stella Nyanzi was unfit to carry the party mantle. Parties have been doing it. It's not new. Though when Noop did it, other parties, it looks like it's the biggest sinner because, because it has carried out the news all over, the country. But there's nothing new. And the other thing people should understand, for example, I spoke of Patrick Omujuka. I love Patrick Omujuka so much. But Patrick Omujuka is not as strong on ground as Simbwa. As much as I love Patrick Omujuka to stand, I'll just give you an example. Simbwa lost in the previous election. What did he do? Simbwa comes from Nachifuma. I come from Gayaza, but I have some family members who live in Nachifuma. I had to consult them and say, you know what? Patrick Omujuka, how is he on ground? Because as much as Patrick Omujuka is a public figure, but being a public figure is not enough. People should understand that. Being a public figure is not enough.
So who determines who is stronger? Is it the party hierarchy
this is what happened.
Or the people on ground?
Despite the party, because you noticed if you watched the executive secretary explaining, he said part is the questions you're ready to the party, the number of things they ask you decide, but another portion comes from your constituency. They go and ask people on ground. Now, I'll give you what is happening in Nachifuma. When Simbwa lost in the previous election, he went on ground. He started up Nachifuma FC. He bought them a bus. He started up, he put up water in the constituency. He put up small clinics in the constituency. How are you going to beat up Simbwa?
So was that the yardstick you used?
No, even if it's not the only yardstick, would you pick a candidate that is going to lose to the other? Even if you gave Patrick Omujuka, I am telling you, from Nachifuma, Patrick cannot beat Simbwa. Simbwa is well-grounded, he's on the ground.
But we know Simbwa had the party he was in, right?
Whatever party is coming from.
So if you have diehards who have stood with you.
This is not a... Let me tell you one thing.
So because
let me finish up. Let me add on it.
Working out.
This is not...
Okay.
I think when Honorable Chagulanyi went to stand in Chadono East, I was so excited. I've known him for over 15 years as a friend. But I do not use that as a mandate. And for example, if I was going to stand, I would never use that as a yardstick for me to be selected. And I think one of the things we must understand, some of these people who knew Chagulanyi from the music industry, who have shared the same spot in the limelight, confused that with leadership. This is not a joke. This is Uganda. So some of the people who are, I know so many people came from radio, came from TV, and I had one of the radio presenters said, oh, when I'm on TV, people see me every day. And I'm like, man, wake up. Ugandans, you're talking about seeing you every day, don't have electricity at home to watch TV. People are looking for food, they don't have the time to watch you during your program of 30 minutes. For you to think you're so famous to get enough votes when you're doing a program of 30 minutes, even maybe during the time when people are looking for food, it is not enough. So there are people who definitely jumped on. And it is good that Chagulanyi awakened so many young people, especially musicians, especially people in the entertainment industry. But I think what it should happen, those who did not go through, they should go and do their homework. There are some people definitely...
We'll see how some of them, like Nabila Tana, but I just want to...
No, and let me just add on one thing. Let me just, about the people who are not selected.
In a minute.
Some of the people who did not go through the selection, who are not selected, some of them are NRM moles and we knew them. Some of them were openly working with Salim Saleh.
So who is Nabila? Nabila?
Nabila, let me tell you, Nabila, I don't know. I'm one person who did not like Nabila in the beginning because this is what happens. Nabila forgot, literally Nabila, when it came to her constituency, she was woman member of Kampala. Nabila went off for some time. I don't know what she was up to, and she forgot her constituency. There's part of the year I saw her in Canada. She moved from Canada, she came to the US. I didn't like that. But at the same time, as I was still contemplating, I put up a post and I said, I'm not feeling Nabila because I think she has come for a mail card. I wasn't feeling her. But at the same time, when I saw the likes of Nandala Mafabi come on a show as opposition on NBS Frontline, and in Nandala Mafabi, they are basically putting out all their energies onto fighting Noop as if Noop is the party in power. I said, you know what? I think we are okay with let's take on Nabila. If Nabila is willing, to shout and say out, you know, Honorable Chagulanyi, because we expect all candidates to campaign for Honorable Chagulanyi as well. So if Nabira is willing to go out there and campaign for Honorable Chagulanyi as she's campaigning for herself, I am okay. You know, after that debate, I'm like, you know what? Nabira, I'm sorry, I'm okay with Nabira. Because I've noticed even people who are in opposition are comfortable, are only fighting to keep their positions in the opposition. They don't want to take down Museveni. Because the likes of Nandala Mafabi, the anger he had over Noop. Oh, Noop is not everywhere. Oh, I've just come from Western Uganda, there is no Noop.
As I said, you're eating up the political space.
No, but so what I'm saying,
whoever is in
for
the
them who have been here for 20 years, they have
like
only 35 members of parliament, you know, members of parliament. So if we are taking up the, you know, people come and go.
Okay,
because before,
let's hear from Richard.
Before
moment.
FDC, DP was stronger than FDC maybe before. So it is so sad for these men who would be nurturing Chagulanyi, seeing that he has the will of the people, the young people who are the majority in Uganda are standing with him, instead of nurturing him to see that they work with him, because I know he can share the political space with them. He can share positions if that's what they're looking for. But they are putting him down, they are pulling Noop down, or it was bought, there is a consideration. If Noop was bought, so what?
Richard, do you feel Noop has representation in all parts of Uganda? I mean, there are some areas and regions, I want us to be very objective about this, where Noop is not known that much, right? But the candidate, the brand of Bobi Wine is known, right, in those areas. So do you feel you will be able to have representation in all those areas ahead of this scientific election? Okay.
Now, what was the purpose of Museveni not allowing Honorable Chagulanyi to go in every district of the country?
Tell us.
The same question asked me, because he doesn't want to present his views to the people of Karamoja, the people of Soroti. I have a complaint from the people of Soroti. They need him to go there and educate him what is the difference between him and Museveni, what he's going to do. Museveni wants to contain him, Honorable Chagulanyi, in the hot spot of politics in Kampala, and he's not known in other places. But I'm going to tell you, this is a two-way ticket. The first thing is the members of parliament, because to change the status quo of the country, you need the majority of the members of the parliament to change the constitution of the country, because remember, it's going to be changed, because every Ugandan agree with that. The second thing is the presidential leadership of the country. The presidential leadership of the country, Honorable Chagulanyi will take it. As soon as it takes, I've known Uganda the way they defect in a minute. As soon as it takes the leadership of the country, these people that have been fighting, supporting NRA, will all change. Because Honorable Chagulanyi, this is what he's going to do. He has a conference in the first 3 months of the leadership. It's his leadership. He's going to come up with a conference in the country of where all Ugandans that made up Ugandans, including those that came in from other countries and possess the names of the people of the current tribes in Uganda, into one room, a conference room, and let us build a new country.
I don't think we'll have the conference before the election. Because
no.
After, we won't have any open air.
After an election, after he wins the election, he's going to bring everyone on table. Remember, the leadership of the country today is made up of one man, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and his 10-point program, of which he himself he wrote down. You look at the constitution of the 10-point program. He wrote it himself in the NRA, in NRM, and the High Command. He himself. So Honorable Chagulanyi is different. He's going to bring all these people on table and say, let's build a new country. How do we want to live in peace and harmony with each other? Look at Zimbabwe, which is one of the hotspots now, the political hotspot. Zimbabwe is in Mawogola, it's in Uganda. The land was confiscated from Baganda. We shall recover the land that was confiscated and given back to the rightful owners. But if those people want a special status, we shall give it to them. Look at Brookline, where you are, in Massachusetts here. Do you know that Massachusetts, being a Jewish town, has a special mandate in the Constitution of Massachusetts? It can make its own laws and rule themselves. Everything's different. So there's nothing that is going to stop Ugandans and Noop and Chagulanyi people power from the total change of leadership and building a new country in Uganda. And we are taking leadership, not twice, not in second strike, one strike. This one, we kick Museveni out and
Let me talk to you also concerning Buganda. Do you feel Buganda as a kingdom has not yet played a pivotal role in marketing Bobi Wine for presidential support?
Buganda, I cannot turn against Buganda. I'm a Muganda.
No, I didn't say turn against.
No.
I said, do you think?
Look. These people have their own problem. These people are under chini ya ulinzi. I saw how it happened. I was in the Constitutional Assembly. We shall give it back its glory. Let me give you an example there. Very good question. Botswana has kingdoms. You know that, and chiefdoms. We got this independence almost in the same year because Botswana got its independence in 1966. They sat down and constructed a constitution of where they included leadership and chiefdoms in the country. Have they ever had a conflict? No. I'm going to give you another example. The UAE, Dubai, Sharjah, Abu Dhabi, they have kingdoms. This Museveni is saying that in Uganda, that we are tribalistic. We should be kicked out of the political system and the economic system, and we become beggars in our own land. They take our land. We are going to fight, including me. I'm on camera. One last time, we shall be free.
Can I add on what he said about Uganda? I think, in this election, Uganda is not a factor.
Why?
I think what has really happened is...
I would say it's a big factor.
No, it is not.
For the first time, we have a Muganda.
Yeah, but
so close.
Buganda was stripped naked. You know, the Katikiro, I think people in Buganda, for the last 5 years, they've been sleeping in bed with President Museveni, having coffee and,
Some say they are still doing this.
And rubbing his back and massaging him. That really, they are not, they forgot about the bigger picture, because Buganda before used to be a key factor in how the politics of Uganda moves. Right now, Buganda is not a factor, and Buganda is responsible for whatever is happening. But the good and most interesting thing is, as the leadership in Buganda went and jumped in bed with President Museveni, the Baganda, who were us, the young people, we did not partake of that. They jumped, they did it on their own. That's why you would say, because why is Bobi Wine, despite the fact that there is no Buganda endorsement, so strong in Buganda? In fact, I'll be honest with you. In Uganda right now, for example, in Buganda, Kabaka, people still have respect for the Kabaka. The number 2 in Buganda is Bobi Wine. I'll tell you. The number, not even Katikiro. The number to take away the Kabaka of Uganda, the Kabaka of Uganda, Ronald Mwenda Mutebi, the number 2 in Uganda right now is Bobi Wine.
Okay.
Why has it happened? Because as the Katekiro, as these people in Buganda were jumping in bed with the Museveni, they forgot about their own, of which Buganda is the biggest tribe in Uganda. It is the biggest tribe with so many young people. And they left these young people hanging. So Bobi Wine, who is a Muganda, who loves the Kabaka, he has been singing about the Kabaka. He has been a victim of Buganda, the injustice in Buganda, where when his land was, he had a very beautiful parking lot. I went to, there's one time I was in Busabala, and he had made up a beautiful, parking lot that Katikiro and the rest came and demolished. So the young people of Buganda, as those people were jumping in bed with Buganda, they never incorporated the young people. So you're going to find there's a shift. As the leadership in Mengo is enjoying massaging Museveni's back, the young people are left vacant. Who do they run to? The young people of Buganda have Bobi Wine.
Anyways.
Have Bobi Wine. So in this current election that is going to happen, Buganda is not a factor. Whether they say anything or not, it doesn't matter. Already the people of Uganda, the young people of Uganda have decided. But we've had, there are key factors. There are key people who really, are very important key factors in the politics of Buganda, like the Kakunguru of Buganda. You've seen Bobi Wine visiting Kakunguru, and you see. But the people of Buganda are going to stand separately, and before you finish up, I want to answer someone raised the question here. I was reading on our social media platforms, and someone was talking about NOP and the court case. and maybe it's to just throw in a little bit of light for people to understand, is...
I didn't want to talk about it
yeah,
because it's
but,
a matter before court. So.
Yeah, but as people, we are allowed to give our own opinion. People have been giving opinions about this, and that's a case that Chibalama is not going to win, unless the judge in this case, you know, has his head borrowed up by President Museveni. But even when you see from the interrogation, I'm not a lawyer, but from the interrogation, I think Bobby Wine and his team, and this goes back to the fact that they've been, underestimating Bobby Wine. Yeah, taking over NOP did not start in it started in 2018. So these guys were doing everything slowly but sure, but they were exploiting all the legal means. That in case, I think, despite the fact that they were dealing with Chibalama, they knew that Chibalama is not strong enough to desist from, money from President Museveni. He's a poor man. So they did everything to the book. And I'm saluting them, because if they managed to do this from 2018, for it to come out to the light in 2020, as much as at some point I'm mad at Chibalama, I also should give him kudos, because the man kept a secret. Just imagine if they had gotten, before it was ripe enough.
You would be kicked out already.
You would be in trouble. But I'm so glad that they managed to this by the time, because Chibalama going to court now, because the issue, the contention in court was the $5 million he put up on video. He denied that on oath. He said there was no money. And the leadership is contesting right now. It was handed over legally. And he said that they were sidelined. But the other, Kagombe, is the administrative secretary. He's working.
That whole issue is full of drama. That's why I try to avoid it.
Because for our viewers who may not have analyzed it, because if you say the people from the former executive were sidelined, Kagombe has a job. Kagombe in NOP is the administrative secretary. He has a job. So we want to understand who was sidelined. But you definitely know, when you see the government had hand in it, you saw David Muhozi, and you wonder, how is he concerned about political parties? And the beginning, if the UPDF coming...
It's obvious that the government cannot be comfortable.
Yeah, they cannot be comfortable, but this is a case...
leader is coming up.
I think this is a case they are going to lose, because first of all...
We hope it will come out fairly.
It is a case... Unless, I'm telling you, the judge does not carry his head. From the cross-interrogation...
We've seen many who don't carry their heads.
From the cross-interrogation, and I'm telling you, you see, the beauty we have, unless they stop the cameras, the public has been given privy into this case, and the public court has already made verdict, has already come up to the judgment of this case,
as we wind up,
they are going to lose.
30 seconds, 30 seconds. What is your last words that you would like to speak to Mr. Museveni, if you had him in camera there?
Yeah, the last thing I want to tell Mr. Museveni is this. If you don't want to finish up to 2021...
Face him.
Yeah, and you leave this country empty-handed with the Kavera as your parents came, you stop Honorable Chagwani from contesting for the presidency of Uganda. You'll be gone, and you'll never have even a penny to get out of the country with everything you have. It's up to you.
Sarah Joy, your last parting words for Mr. Museveni, if you had a chance to talk to him ahead of the elections.
I think basically the only thing I should tell President Museveni is, where, at the man of his age, you would expect him to at least want to protect a little bit of his legacy. And where is the shame? I would want to understand, because I've had people who meet him and say, oh, he's full of wisdom. I'm like, where is the wisdom not to see that he has led the country for 35 years and he has gotten to a place where the country is not going forward but backwards? You would expect after 35 years, Uganda to be somewhere. But you see,
thank you very much.
No, after a simple, the other day I was telling people, after a simple downpour in Uganda, Kampala floods, and it's even carrying dead bodies in Kampala. After a simple downpour. And it is simple,
It is
work on the drainage.
I mean, we've had issues with Kampala and Uganda, but I want to thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. I mean, you've had, it's been a wonderful show. I hope the viewers had, some very good insights. And I'm praying that we shall have, an objective election. I am praying that we shall have an electoral commission that is really committed to the cause of the people of Uganda. But most importantly, that if a president who is sitting or the incumbent loses an election, he finds it, very courageous to hand over power. I'm not saying he will rig himself back in power, but I'm just saying I hope that he finds the courage to hand over power. Thank you very much. And yep, that has been it. We'll go through all your views. We've been responding to some of them, but thank you for being on the show. And we will see you again next weekend. Thank you.